What is going on, everybody? ZyoniK here. In today's video, we're going to be diving into the Fossil Cup as it is the new meta out in Pokemon Go Battle League, and it is dense. I don't know if you guys have experienced, but there are a very limited amount of Pokemon that people are running, and the good reason why is because it's only Rock, Steel, and Water type Pokemon that are eligible, so the meta density is, it's there on day one. Now, today I'm going to be running Jellicent, Ferrothorn, and Credilli. I thought this was a pretty fun and unique team to give a try, as it can cover the meta pretty well. And we have some really cool, very high skilled games, catch and charge moves today, and landing some booms, so I hope you guys enjoy. Alright, getting into the first battle, we have Jellicent on the lead versus Lantern. So this is obviously going to be a very tough matchup for us. We're going to go ahead and go into that Credilli, and they swap in an Escavalier right away. This is what's cool about the Credilli safe swap, is a lot of times if there is a Lantern, there's typically at least one Steel in the back from what I've seen. It's either Escavalier, Lucario, or Registeel. In this case, the Escavalier takes a lot of neutral damage from Rock Slide, which is why we're going to push this thing into the 1 shields right here and look to see if we can actually get to a 3rd Rock Slide in time. It's going to be close, but no, I'm not going to be able to make it. They do decide to throw the charge move as well, which is actually really helpful for us because they could have committed to the farm down right there. So now we got to take advantage of that, right? My opponent made a mistake. This is going to happen, but they made a mistake, and we're taking a big advantage. So we're going to come in and look to fully hex farm down here with the Jellicent because we can easily tank a drill run. Now, if they did farm down, what you would have to do in this situation is shield one of the drill runs and go for a surf, right? So we're going to go ahead and no shield the first drill run and go for a surf, right? So we're going to go ahead and go for Shadow Ball here. They decided no shield. We're going to come in with Ferrothorn right away, and the last Pokemon is going to be Golisopod. So Ferrothorn now doing a very nice core break right here with Thunder. Now, Power Whip, you don't want to go for that against Golisopod because it's only neutral, but Thunder is super effective damage, and we have to hopefully get to another one in time before this Golisopod can get to 3 X-Scissors, because it does do a decent amount of damage in tandem with the Shadow Claws. So we're going to go ahead and shield the next charge move, look to get to this Thunder, and hopefully before they get to that X-Scissor, otherwise we're going to be in trouble. And we get to it in time. Perfect! So Ferrothorn now going to be taking out the Golisopod with a beautiful boom in the first battle. Boom! One-shots it. And then it's going to be a race to the Power Whip. Now, I decide to make a swap right here to catch the charge move, knowing that they would throw Thunderbolt. And the Ferrothorn was risky. I think I still would have survived, but it would have been risky. So I decided to catch the charge move there and go for the Power Whip now against Lantern in order to win this game. So that is going to be a good battle. Very well played. All right. Moving into the next one, we have Jellicent on the lead versus Lantern once again. So very tough. We're going to go ahead and go into the Credilli here. And they're deciding to stay in, and this is what you have to do. When your opponent stays into a matchup that's clearly a losing matchup, they are core broken. They're weak in the back in some way, and their best answer seems to be a Kingdra. So my thoughts are instantly beginning to think, okay, maybe there is a Mudboy in the back. Maybe there is a potential Pelipper in the back, right? These are the things you got to be thinking of when your opponent stays in to something weak and they swap in something that is not a hard counter, and Kingdra is definitely not. So we want to take advantage of this and look to get 2 shields from my opponent or get switch, which is why I'm going to go ahead and shield the Octazooka and go for the Grass Knot now in order to KO, right? So if this KOs, we get switch. If it doesn't and they shield, then we get 2 shields, which means Ferrothorn, if we take into account what they have done so far, Ferrothorn should sweep this team. So we're going to go ahead and come in with it because we do resist all the moves here, Octazooka, Outrage, and Dragon Breath, so there's no need to shield, and we can safely really load up on energy right now. So the Octazooka definitely not going to be enough to take us out. We're going to go ahead and just look to healthy farm down right here, and we get the full farm down. Let's see what they got. It is not something weak in the back. It is a Shadow Mawile with Fire Fang. We're going to go ahead and go for the Thunder. We have to swap into the Jellicent right away, and they know that, so they swap into Lantern at the same time. We're going to have to go for a Shadow Ball here. Now, this is going to become a very crazy end game because Ferrothorn is going to have to sweep for me. Hopefully. I need to have a Thunder ready to go for the Shadow Mawile, because Shadow Mawile with Fire Fang will destroy my team. I will give up a shield here on the Thunderbolt, because now it's going to force them to throw another Thunderbolt right back. The shield would be wasted on my Ferrothorn, as now we can go ahead and soak that Thunderbolt. We're going to go ahead and look to commit to the farm down right here. This is going to be extremely close. Another charge move is coming through. It is only the Surf, though, which is not enough to KO. They decide to swap into Mawile, and I get the Thunder off in time. This should be enough damage. Boom! Takes out the Mawile, and then we go for one fast move and KO the Lantern, and that is going to be a good game. Very well played. Alright, moving into the next one. Today's battles were a lot of fun. They were a lot of fun. We got Jellicent now versus Pelipper here on the lead. Okay, so with Pelipper leads, what I have seen a lot of is they are paired with double steel. And this could be a wide variety, not a wide variety, 4 Pokemon. Registeel, Escavalier, Lucario, and Berserker. So what I do is I swap into Credilli after getting the charge move. Now we see a Registeel come in. The reason why I swap into Credilli and not maybe shield on the Jellicent is because I know Jellicent is going to be my key to victory. Jellicent basically has to KO their whole team, especially if they have a Lucario or an Escavalier in the back. Now, with Credilli here, we're just going to be going for Rock Slides. Grass Knot and Rock Slide are both resisted, but at least I can spam multiple Rock Slides. So we're going to go ahead and let this go. This is totally fine. It is going to be a Focus Blast. Boom, we go down. But now we come in with the Jellicent right away because we want to load up on energy here before we see that Pelipper come back in. We have to give up a shield, and I'm anticipating them swapping now into the Pelipper, but they're not. So I'm going to go ahead and go for Shadow Ball, and my guess is that they're going to actually go for another Zap Cannon. So I'm going to look to try to catch the charge move, but they actually do swap. So I swap into Ferrothorn at the exact same time to catch the charge move from Pelipper. It is going to be a Hurricane, which is a lot of neutral damage, but ultimately it's okay because we can survive a Weather Ball here and look to go for Power Whip now on CMP tie. And like I said, when you have Pelipper and Double Steel teams, you have to fully rely on your Jellicent to win, but they get to a second Hurricane. Alright, it is up to Jellicent now to win this game. Mind you, it has to take out the it's already basically taken out the Registeel. It has to take out the Pelipper. We get the final shield from the Pelipper, and your energy management on Jellicent needs to be on point. I will give up a shield here. It is just going to be a Weather Ball, but I didn't want to take any extra chip damage because I know I can get to this next Shadow Ball in time, and it's all going to be a matter of what is in the back. So we throw this Shadow Ball here. Remember, Registeel is extremely low, and the final Pokemon is going to be a Lucario. So we're going to go ahead and overload on energy, knowing that they're going to try to swap and catch the charge move, which they did, or they didn't, but they did do the swap. And now we can throw the Shadow Ball here to take out Lucario, and that is going to be a good game. Very well played. Boom. Good game. All right. Moving into the next one, we have Jellicent on the lead versus Pelipper once again. So we're going to run the same formula. We're going to go for a Shadow Ball, we're going to swap into Credilli, and see what we draw out. It's going to be a Steel most likely because that is just what's being run right now. Alright, we're going to go ahead and go for that Shadow Ball, get the shield, swap into Credilli, and let's see what they do. They decide to stay in and throw a charge move, which I'm totally fine right here with them doing that. It's just a Weather Ball, so that's not too bad. And here comes the Lucario, so we're going to go ahead and go for Grass Knot here. Grass Knot is only single resistance. You want to go for that in this matchup. And it actually does 50% of Lucario's HP. Now, they fully farm me down, and now we can come in with Jellicent right here. We have to watch out for Shadow Ball, but we might be able to get the full Hex farm down. This is going to be close. No, I actually don't think we're going to be able to right here. Now looking at the health. So we're going to have to shield the Shadow Ball and then overload just slightly on energy. And now I'm just going to go for the Surf. I'm way too chicken right here. I don't want to be shielding a double Shadow Ball, but we did get the Lucario out of the game. Okay. So let's see what comes in. It's going to be Registeel. So there is the double Steel in the back. Now it is going to be up to Jellicent to win this game. And in order to win, you have to catch a Zap Cannon on Ferrothorn. That is the only way. So we're going to go ahead and go for the Shadow Ball first. They throw the Zap Cannon right here. I got a shield, obviously. Jellicent is my win condition. And now it's going to be a matter of if I can catch the charge move. So let's see if we can do it. Overload a bit and swap. Oh, I decided to go for the Surf first. They're about to throw it. They're about to throw it because what I'm going to do here is not attack. I'm going to wait a second and swap because they have the charge move. If I go for the Hex, then I get locked in and I can't swap. So I do catch the Zap Cannon right there. I also save a ton of energy on my Jellicent, and they bring in the Pelipper, which this might just be a Hurricane here. Yeah, no, it's just going to be a Weather Ball, so they definitely did not build up enough, but I can easily go for Thunder now to one-shot the Pelipper, and this is going to be, oh, this is so beautiful. Catching Zap Cannons is one of the most satisfying things, but boom, we take it out. Registeel coming back in has to throw a Focus Blast, and this is the Achilles heel of Registeels. They only have very high energy charge moves, so they cannot throw back-to-back moves, which allows me now to get to this Shadow Ball here and win this game. So that is going to be a good battle, very well played. But ultimately, when you face off against these Pelipper or Lantern or Jellicent double steel teams, you have to rely on your own Jellicent. Good game. All right, we got Jellicent now versus Pelipper. Once again, I saw this team a lot, so we're going to run it from the top. We're just going to go Shadow Ball, and we're going to go into Cradily. Again, you guys are going to see that, like, this team can work, but you have to catch the charge move. So we go for the Shadow Ball first. They shield. We swap into Cradily, and here we go. They're throwing the charge move here. This could be a Hurricane. I'm okay. You got to be okay with tanking this charge move, and because you need to save your shields for Ferrothorn and Jellicent. So they're going to look to probably swap out, but they don't. They allow me to get a free Rock Slide off right here, which is going to KO, but they decide to shield. So now that is 2 shields gone, and you have to be wondering if they're deciding to stay in, what do they have in the back? Now, in this case, it's going to be Escavalier that they swap in, which is totally fine with me because I landed a free Rock Slide. And also, Ferrothorn now is free in the back. So what we're going to do here is just load up on energy. They will be throwing the Drill Run. So I will give up a shield. And then look to overload just a bit on energy. Not too much. I'm going to go 2, 3 hexes and go for a Surf now to take out the Escavalier. And then I should be able to go for a Shadow Ball against the Pelipper here. They do have a good amount of energy, but they might win the race. Let's see. They come in with Registeel instead. So once again, this is a double steel team, and we have to remember that Pelipper has a lot of energy, but they are also out of shields, and we still have 1 shield ourselves. So we're going to see if we can catch the charge move on Ferrothorn, which I do! Come on! Is this the Zap Cannon right here? Yeah, it is. Of course, it is Ferrothorn catching the charge move, which is beautiful, saving all the energy on our Jellicent as well, as we can freely go for Thunder, and they cannot sack swap, right? They sack swap, they get caught with a Thunder, so this is going to be a good game, as I can easily let this Focus Blast go through and close this game out with Jellicent. I only need a Shadow Ball for the Pelipper and a Surf here for the Registeel, so I'm going to go ahead and overload on energy. I'm going to go for the Surf now to KO the Registeel, and then we have Shadow Ball for the Pelipper, and that is going to be a good game, very well played. They will go for the charge move, but that's okay. I, again, should be able to win the race, even if this is a Weather Ball shield bait. I think I only need to do 1 more Hex. Yeah, that is going to be a good game. So this team can put in work in bad situations, but it all comes down to catching charge moves on your Ferrothorn with the when you face off against Registeel. So good game. All right, moving to the next one. We have Jellicent on the lead versus Jellicent. Okay, so this matchup is very tough because it's going to come down to who wins CMP tie. And considering my IVs are terrible in terms of PvP IVs, I usually win CMP tie quite often. So we're going to go ahead and shield the Shadow Ball. We're going to overload a bit on energy. We're going to go ahead and go for our own Shadow Ball. And I don't bait in these situations, right? It's just better to get this Jellicent out of the way. And let's see what they decide to do. I'm going to go ahead and throw my Shadow Ball, and we win CMP tie. Again, it's because of my bad IVs, but it works out in these situations. So Shadow Ball will KO. Boom. They decide to let it go. Now I got to save my Jellicent because they could have a Lucario or an Escavalier. Jellicent is very key to handle those fighting type Pokemon and some of the steel type Pokemon when we are running this team, which is why I like keeping it alive. And for this Escavalier matchup, I can no shield the Drill Run here. We might just be able to survive, which we do, and allow us to get to another Rock Slide, forcing the final shield of this game or KOing the Escavalier. So the Escavalier goes down, and their final Pokemon is their own Ferrothorn. So this is kind of like a mirror matchup in an extent. We have the same core, but they only have a Ferrothorn left, and I have my Jellicent still with some energy. So we're going to go ahead, actually it doesn't have that much energy. We're going to go ahead and just go for Thunders in this situation. I think when we look at the damage, Thunder just does just a tad bit more than the Power Whip here. So we're just going to go ahead and go for those, and we should be able to finish off this game just fine with our Jellicent and Hex and a shield, as long as we get this Ferrothorn low. And considering we're in the mirror match right now, with the same amount of health and relative same energy, I think we're going to be okay. So we're just going to go ahead and just keep loading up, going for Thunders right here, doing as much chip damage as we can. I know this is kind of like a long way to end this game. It's very drawn out, but ultimately we are going to be okay. So we can safely let this go through, and then go for one more Thunder here as we do survive, and I did get the Thunder in time. Now, if they shield this, obviously we go for Shadow Ball, win the game. If they no shield it, well, we're just going to go ahead and load up on energy, and I think I decide to go for Shadow Ball and close this game out. So that's going to be a good battle. If they no shielded it, then we just Hex farm down, right? So that's going to be a good game. All right, moving into the next one. We have... Wait, was that the final one? No, we got one more. We have Jellicent on the lead versus Skarmory. Okay, well, with Skarmory leads, I'm just going to let you guess what's in the back. It's going to be Double Mudboy, and this team has a lot of fun with Double Mudboy, especially with the Ferrothorn, because you have the Power Whips to one-shot, and you have the Thunder for Skarmory. So I'm going to go ahead, and this is unfortunate timing by me. I didn't want to tank this next Mud Bomb, but I am forced to. I only wanted to tank one, but now I have to overload a little bit on energy. Going to go ahead and go for the Power Whip here, and then look to go for the Thunder. And the reason why, the reason why I didn't want to tank that extra Mud Bomb is because I wanted to get to 2 Thunders versus Skarmory, but unfortunately my timing was off against Quagsire. But we can still make this work, as Thunder just does so much damage. They will commit to the full farm down, which is fine, and they're likely going to be throwing a Brave Bird here. But remember, if they safe swap the Quagsire and they have a Skarmory, the odds of them having another water in the back is huge. So I'm going to go ahead and save the shield. I swap into Credilli, and they swap into Swampert, which is kind of funny because the Skarmory left this matchup. I would have had Rock Slides for it anyways, but I get ahead on energy versus the Swampert. I find this just very, very funny, that by them throwing a Brave Bird and me swapping into Credilli, it actually forces them out into a worse matchup. It's like a lose-lose situation for them because of Credilli's moveset and typing, right? It's got Rock Slide for the Skarmory, which would one-shot. It's got Bullet Seed and Grass Knot for the Swampert, and it also has the Rock Grass typing, so it only takes neutral from flying. So this is going to be a good game. Skarmory is going to come back in and try its best, but I can safely go for a Rock Slide here to force the final shield, and then swap back into my Jellicent with a shield and energy to close this game out, and they decide to surrender right there. So that is going to be a good battle. But this team, so much fun to use, but again, this meta was so dense. Like, the first day, this is all I saw was double steals, Mud Boys, and a sprinkle of, like, Pelipper's, Lanturns, and Jellicents in there. So let me know down in the comments what you guys thought about this meta, what you guys thought about this team. I thought it was fun to use, especially by testing my capabilities to catch charge moves in order to win. It was a very, like, exciting gameplay when you're in that moment, you catch the charge move right. It was so much fun. So hope you guys enjoyed today's video, and like always, thanks for watching. I'll see you in the next one.